Hey guys, what's up? Beth Murphy here. I took a little time to make a video because I have to be authentic. I just do. Because you'll know if I'm not. And I'll know and I'll delete it. It's as simple as that. I don't make promises in my life because I have to know how I'm going to feel, right? It's all about how you feel, because what you feel is what you wind up perpetuating. So I did think of something I think is a good tool. And since we are the minority and we have to deal with 80% of the world possibly thinking a little differently than us, I feel like we can use all the tools that we can. So I'm happy to share what I think up. And also it helps me because it just reinforces it. It puts it closer to the front of my mind where I'll access it. Okay. So this came to me, most of you know, I'm married to a Sensor Thinky. He's up here. ISTJ. So a lot of our lives are harmonious, except for the S and the T. But there's a beauty in that. There's a beauty in these opposites. And this is why I make these videos too. So I'm calling this my horse analogy. And it is an appreciation for Sensor Thinkies. And it came to me because I was in a Facebook group, and somebody brought up something about AI. If you don't know, it's artificial intelligence. And so I just kind of chimed in with my thoughts, which are positive. And, I've already looked into all this stuff for many years. This is because of my metaphysics. It's come up. So I wasn't too concerned about it. And I suggested, because now the Myers Briggs are always on my mind, this is how I look at my world since I learned this stuff. I suggested that most people get upset about that because it's the unknown. And now who's afraid of the unknown? The Sensor Thinkies. And I don't blame them. This is an appreciation for Sensor Thinkies today. So in my personal life, I often find a reflection of what's going on with me, and then I look out in my world, and usually the same thing's happening. This often happens with my friends. Jill, if you're listening, I'm including you. Jill's the girl. We do our INFJs in the Woods videos. I often find we're on the same mood patterns, which is cute. But anyway, so in my personal life, and then I look out in the world and like, hey, I see this again. And then that's something I feel like I should learn or teach. So the horse analogy, now, this is how I see that other very large percent, the sensor thinkers of the world. I see them as having the horse blinders on. And let me just read a brief description, okay, on those horse blinders so you can get it in your head too. Try to picture one here. I don't know if you can see this. Ta-da! There he is. See, he's fine. He's fine. He looks good. It's a classy setup there. Don't worry about him. He's got his little blinders on. Now let's read briefly, and we'll find out why. Prevent a horse from seeing behind and beside him. Horses that pull wagons and carriages wear blinkers, as they're called, to prevent them from becoming distracted or panicked by what they see behind the wagon. Right? Fine. Perfectly fine. No one wants that horse to get upset. The horse, the driver, everyone around him, everybody wants that horse to remain calm and do that task that we would like him to do. That's how I see Sensor Thinkies. I'm married to one. I'm telling you, I have studied and analyzed this person for like 25 years. He is very, very, very one-minded. He has tunnel vision, but not in a bad way for him. For him, he makes it work. This is his life. His job has to do with these details. So, but it does come, it comes up for us. A lot of you have attracted your opposites. And I think that's a beautiful thing because you learn from each other. Ours comes up a lot with money because he gets a piece of paper every week and I am more of an entrepreneur. So I have like one of our commenters used the phrase like creative ways to look at money. And I do that. I'll say, but I took this action and I created this wealth. It's not a dollar amount every week. That would bore me to tears. So I have these outside the box ways of thinking, and he does not. I see big picture, and he does not. But it's okay. The balance between us makes it work. So I feel like the balance between everyone makes it work. Because the truth is, I actually will have trouble being one-minded for a long time. I don't see that as a bad thing. Some people want to medicate that. If you feel it's a bad thing for you, you explore whatever you need to. But for me, it doesn't really bother me. As long as I'm contributing in a meaningful way, if I do it one way and then the next day I do it another way, it doesn't really bother me. But so that was the analogy. Now, why do Sensor Thinkies have those blinders on? Because they would be afraid. They're afraid of the unknown. The horse is afraid of what might be behind him or on the side of him. You don't want to spook him. And this is like classic ST from my experience. And that's fine. They don't need extra information. They don't need to know everything around them like I do, like maybe you do. So there's just value in all the types. This helps me because sometimes I allow myself to become frustrated with the, like money, for instance, in case this, happens in your family. I see all around. I see the big picture. I see the past, and I use it to determine the future because, we're all about patterns. And he does not do this. The way he's wired is the past means nothing. Everything's a house of cards. It could all tumble in and fall apart. And I don't think of it like that. I'm like, you've never done this in the past. Why are you going to do it in the future? So we work it out. You try to compromise. If you live with the person, you do what you have to do to make peace. Because it's not it's about the journey, right? So you want to have a peaceful life together. So that's all. Just a little compassion and more, even more than that, an appreciation. Nobody wants the horse rattled. All right. So if you have a sensor thinky and you're trying to get him to think outside the box, just don't. That's your thing. That's what you do. That's not what they're going to do. You can find your way with each other when necessary. And I take a tip from my friend Jill, again, my INFJ friend. She calls herself an average Jill. She's not average. But her tip was with her mate, her husband, she said, I leave him out of it. So this has helped me too, because my husband can't handle all these details that I come at him with and my ideas. I just need to implement them and let him see the return, and then not have an expectation of him being happy, because he does not enjoy the same things I do. He does not see a lot of the positive things in the world that I do. We had a tenant wanted to leave to buy a home, and she found us a suitable tenant. Her sister, who makes even more money than she does and is a very nice person. And my husband didn't even bat an eye. Like he really has trouble embracing positivity and goodness because he's kind of afraid to let himself be too quote unquote too happy. So it's interesting. Like I think he's too careful, and he thinks that's what's caused his life to be what it is. And I think his life actually could have been even more, and vice versa. So, I think we bring these people into our lives to teach each other. All right. But anyway, think of the horse thing. If your sensor thinky drives you crazy, they need to be that way. That's the message. And not just as much as we need to be our way. I don't know about you, but a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday I couldn't do it. I did it, but I couldn't do it anymore. So We embrace our differences. All right. Thank you for listening. I promise something good comes up, I will talk about it, but it has to be authentic, so I can't bang it out every day like some people choose to do that, because I have other things that I do. But if you have something you want me to talk about, I would love to do that, and I'll sit with it and see what comes up. All right. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.